So, welcome everyone. So, let's look at the markets at a high level. So, I'm going to go to the bigger picture and see where the indices are. All right. So, this is the bigger picture, monthly on the left side and weekly on the right side. Um, so, if we look at this, 5638 was kind of the target that we had, the long term target, and we went well above that, almost 500 points up above this level, and now we are revisiting this. So this is probably a good point for us to get bullish again, because the monthly is still um, you know bullish, and overall I don't see any major economic shocks apart from some tariff related things. I think um, that has already caused around 500 point correction, and if we get to 5638, I think that would be a good place for us to start getting back into the market. The reason being, some of these 10% tariff on China, it's immaterial. Basically, many companies will be able to handle that without any issues, right? They'll either pass it on to the customers or to the suppliers, and the companies can still make profits. So 10% on China is not a major impact, but 25% on Canada and Mexico is going to create some short-term jolt to the retailers, especially, and also some manufacturing companies who manufacture in Mexico and import it into US, right? So I think depending on I mean we all know how much of manufacturing happens in North America, so I don't see that as a big risk, and market can still go back and uh, go back to new highs by midsummer. So this is a short-term correction. I'm looking for a continued bearish trend for another. Let's look at the weekly here. Right. So it has touched the lower Bollinger Band, and see what happens usually when it hits the lower Bollinger Band. For 1 or 2 weeks there will be a pullback, because if you look at the I keep saying this always, Bollinger Band is very, very powerful. From the median, the upper band is two standard deviation. So if you look at this, a simple moving average, 20 being the midpoint, two
Hey
standard
Pradeep,
deviation on the upside. Yep.
hey Pradeep, what is the difference between the simple moving average and the exponential moving average? And what do you
Exponential.
normally check?
I normally go with exponential moving average for intraday and short-term trades. Um, Simple moving average is more delayed, I would say. Exponential is more quicker in nature.
Okay.
So for long-term investments or moving averages which are above 200-day moving average, it's better to go with simple moving average. uh, any moving average which is less than 200, I generally prefer exponential moving average.
So 200 is what you prefer, simple, and then rest is like 50, 20, and 8, right?
Yep. So 50, 20, 21 and 8 is what I have here. I have removed the 20-day simple because I prefer 21 exponential. So here that has been removed. If you see here, this is 21-day moving average exponential. So getting back to Bollinger Band, right? It's a very powerful thing. Upper Bollinger Band is two standard deviation. Lower Bollinger Band is two standard deviation from the midpoint. Now, the index has fallen from the upper Bollinger Band to the lower Bollinger Band, which means it's a four standard deviation move. right? So, which is a lot, especially for S&P 500 with 500 companies in it. So I expect a short-term pullback, like it happened this week itself when it went below the Bollinger Band. You could see immediately it came back above, right, and it closed above the lower Bollinger Band. So this could very well continue for next couple of days, I would say, maybe 1 or 2 days. We go back to this region and then pull back into this 5638 region. And I won't be surprised if it falls slightly below, all the way to 5600. But I think that would be a good point to get back into the markets. Now, that's where uh, I will be focused in the short term. Um, any questions on S&P 500 before I get into NDX and other things?
No, I'm curious on the NDX one, NQ and the NDX one.
Sure, let's go to NDX. Again here, 16100. You see here the way we had a reaction when it got hit. I think this was back in July, and August we had a big pullback. If you remember, I think Nvidia at that time went to 93 or so. So that was a fairly big pullback. And then immediately it bounced back up well above this 2600. Um, in the medium term, I'm not so bullish on NDX. I think rest of the market can definitely do better compared to the tech stocks. So uh, we can expect a deeper pullback in NDX. This side, I'm not sure why it's not loading. Let's try one more time. Hmm. There's some issue with
Recording in progress.
so I'm going to go to the weekly here itself on the left side. Let's see.
I guess some issue with Think or Swim.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
in the weekend maintenance or something.
I don't know. I'm assuming they won't do it during the daytime.
Yeah. Let's see NQ. Okay, this is better. So let me go back to monthly on this side. Um, And interestingly, I think we had this FOMC bounce bull bear line marked here, if you remember, a couple of months ago. And this is where the bull run started in the market. It was after the interest rates were getting cut. I think NDX can see further pullback all the way to maybe these candles. If you look at it here, uh, around this range is where it can find meaningful support, around 19500 to 19400 in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, if you look at it here, I think the 200 week moving average is 19500. It can definitely fall below this and then find support. It's extremely oversold at the moment. If you look at the CCI, so very short term, similar to SPX, I expect a bounce because it has hit the lower Bollinger Band. It can bounce here and then, uh, you know, fall back further below the recent lows. 19,500 to 19,400 is where I would be a buyer, which would align with this line. So always another takeaway here is when you see this applies to even short-term trades. When you see this is called a W pattern. Let me write it here. So you have W here, right? And this midpoint where once it comes back here is the ideal place to go long. If you feel that you got missed out here, wait patiently, and this is where you can go long. And this definitely works on the short term charts as well. So this is my view on NQ. Let's any questions on this? If not, let's go to gold. What a bull run this has been. All right. So the 261% target was 2859, 2851, and it went well above that. I think this, given the oversold levels, it can pull back here, all the way to maybe this previous high here around 2800. If we can get an entry point here, that would be a good buy for long term once again. And yeah, this, if you look at it, it has worked perfectly. This 100% retracement was a 25, found support here, bounced back up, right? So I expect it to go up further with all the volatility that we can see in equity markets. I think gold is going to be bullish, and that is also because dollar is going to help gold.
Recording in progress.
Okay, this is not loading up. Anyway, so dollar strength might go down. It has been very strong, and that's going to help the precious metals, especially gold. Silver is usually a laggard. So I expect it to hit 3,200 or so. So the way we can redraw these lines here is, let's take this recent high and low. Yeah, it is respecting these perfectly, if you see, right? 161% was 2962, hit that, had a major pullback below the 127% level, and it is again bouncing up. So this can, let's put 261 here again. 3223 could be the penultimate target. And this is, if you are familiar with Elliott waves, this is the first wave, second, third, fourth, and then fifth can go. So that's why I'm saying it's the penultimate target. Fifth can go to 3,200. 5 wave advance. That is where it is headed, in my opinion. So any opportunity below 2,800 would be a good entry point in the long term. It's better to be an investor here. It's hard to be a trader. Occasionally, you can trade with some squeezes setting up. Otherwise, it's hard to trade in the short term. Okay, let's look at crude. Crude, in my opinion, has a lot of geopolitical significance in the next couple of months. If at all there is a peace deal in Ukraine and sanctions are lifted on Russia, and if Russian oil comes into the market, this can fall significantly. Okay, so that is one big risk, irrespective of what the chart is doing. And the chart here is refusing to load. So that is one thing we need to keep in mind. Russian oil back in the market is a big possibility. Otherwise, it can remain range bound. Anyway, it's not loading up. Is there any other ETF alternative that we can look at? Maybe uh,
Silver?
no, I was referring to crude oil.
Mm,
Is it USO probably? Yeah, I think it's.
okay.
I had forgotten this ticker for a long time. Huh?
OIS, I guess. OIS.
What is it?
OIS, I guess. Some starts with something O only. Akash.
Oil.
OIS.
No,
Oh,
it's not loading up. That's fine.
okay.
Okay.
I think it's a think or swim issue. I think same with me happening. Charts are not loading up.
Right. Yeah. Let's look at the small caps. Okay, even this refuses to load. How about IWM?
No, it's working fine for me.
Mm. Okay. In a nutshell, I'm more bullish on small caps and mid caps rather than big tech. Um, so there is a lot more potential here for the markets to run in the by summer of this year. So even with my 401k, I'm more heavy towards small caps and mid caps rather than big tech. All right. I think it's not loading up. Let me see if I can look at some big cap names. Apple. This can have significant impact with the tariffs, and a good long-term entry would be below 200. 198, if you see here, is coinciding with the previous 127% and the 100% mark that we had put here, right? So below 200, if we get an opportunity, it's a good entry point for Apple. Otherwise, I would stay away from this name. It's still very expensive. And if you look at the weekly, it's not at oversold levels still. I think it had a good pullback here to 219, went up. In the next leg, I would like to see it below 200 for me to get bullish again. Um, so let's look at Nvidia. I had given certain levels for Nvidia in the group. The last time in August, I remember August 5th, I think it hit 93, and that day I had mentioned it's a good day to get in, right? 93, and it went all the way to 150. But the next good entry point would be again around 100, so which might coincide with this 21-month moving average. Around 103, if it catches up here, would be a good entry point. As of now, it's looking quite bearish, right? And if you look at this, the penultimate target is 168. So it still has the potential to go up in the next bull run. But for now, I think the balloon has got popped. So there is going to be selling pressure, especially on all the expensive tech names. It can underperform the market, in my opinion, in the next couple of months. Let's look at Microsoft.
So if a weekly squeeze firing downwards in the week.
Microsoft is not loading up. How about Google? No. Amazon. Okay, at least we got one side of the chart here, Amazon. So let me enlarge it. I think we had purchased it around 80s, high 80s or low 90s. I don't remember the exact price.
Yeah.
Can you please go on mute? Okay, I was able to mute. So I think this has been a pretty big run, but I'm still holding my stocks, not ready to sell it, because this is an excellent entry point that I got. So in the short term, if you look at this 254, it should have ideally hit that. It went all the way to 252, but started the correction. So this is still due. 254 is still due, in my opinion. This line, if you look at it, the previous highs around 100, sorry, this 100% mark, which is 188, is where it can temporarily find some support. And then since the lower Bollinger Band is also near the same level, I think it can find support and bounce all the way to 217. But ultimately, I think I would be a buyer only if it comes somewhere around this 200 EMA mark. And that might also coincide with this low in back in August of last year. All right, so what is the low here? 151. Yeah, anywhere below 155, I would consider it a good entry point. So I don't intend to add to my position because I have had such a good entry point. If it comes to around 155, I might buy more.
Pradeep, looking at this chart, I entered that AMZU, the short term for short term.
AMZU.
Yeah, it's a bull for 2x bull for Amazon,
Okay.
and it has a 3% dividend return also.
Okay, be careful with this bull ETFs. In the long run, if you hold it for more than 6 to 12 months, you are going to pay a lot in terms of fees rather than
Fees.
making money.
Okay.
And so these are all designed for short-term trades, and especially those who don't know options. It is built for them. They can just go and buy these stocks because it's cheap, like $33. You can buy maybe 100 stocks and ride the wave for short term. But if you are aware of options, there is no reason for you to trade these bull ETFs.
Okay. I am aware, but I don't know how to see the
That
same.
is one third of it. Yeah.
This can simplify so much.
Hmm.
What if we could simplify this entire page?
Yeah.
Can you
First,
please
Oh,
go
yes.
on mute if you are not talking? Thank you. Yeah, so I'm extremely opposed to these bull ETFs, 3x, 2x ETFs. It's designed for people who are not aware of either futures or options, like this USO. This is an ETF. Sorry, not USO. I forgot. There's one which tracks the oil futures. Um,
Is that boil? No, right? No, boil is natural gas. Okay.
Yeah, natural gas is another one, right? You remember we had bought UNG, I think,
Yeah.
right? UNG tracks, if you just compare unfortunately, none of these are loading up at the moment, but if you compare the chart of natural gas futures and the chart of UNG, you will see why I'm opposed to these ETFs. I would rather be a buyer of the futures directly than the ETF. It is okay sometimes to buy it for short term, like 6 months, but don't ever hold it for more than 1 year, thinking that it has a good dividend yield. It's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just playing that because everything had fallen and I
Mhm.
was not adding Amazon. So I said, okay, maybe add this and that arrow that you're showing up,
Mhm.
maybe play that.
Okay. Yeah, I think if it comes to 188, it would be a good entry point for us to trade the short-term bonds below 188. So somewhere around this 183 mark, in fact. Yeah, this
See, you're
cap,
looking at the weekly chart, and
this
you
weekly
you
chart.
yeah, if you're drawing that, how would you play an option trade on that one?
Go for 3 month expiration call contract, Amazon calls,
Okay.
or 2 months. Uh, you know, something above 45 days for sure. If you buy, it is much better compared to buying AMZU. Okay. So I want to pivot towards some educative content for the next 30 minutes before we get into Q&A. So since we opened up the group and there are a lot of new um, traders, I just want to talk about how to make use of the levels that we share every day. This is a pain.
You want to restart your
Yeah, maybe
app to see if it works or something?
yeah.
Yeah, it's not working, I guess, actually. Same with me. I'm trying also.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think there might be some maintenance or something.
Oh man.
Yeah, lately, when they move to Shawl Shop, I think it's having a tough time, I guess, actually.
Yeah, it's working fine for me though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you got into a good server, I guess.
Maybe I shouldn't have quit.
Well, now it's not even opening?
Okay, it opened.
Oh.
going to remove all studies and go with just candles. Let's see.
Oh.
Okay. If I remove all the studies, I think it's faster. MNQ is not loading up. NQ is loading up. That is fine. Let's go with NQ. So the reason why I was going for trying MNQ was I had marked certain levels before this session. So I didn't have to rewrite. It's nothing but, the levels that we send in the group. Let me take a look.
You were able to use someone's script to mark those levels. Someone had posted a script.
Yeah, I tried that. It's actually a good one, but I think there are some improvements needed. Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't logged into my desktop for a long time. I've been using only my phone.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the last 10 days. All right. And
Crazy 10 days.
I'm going to mark the levels that I sent on March 3rd. So let's take a look how you can make use of these. The keys level was 880 to 900. Right. So I'm going to mark 880. Show on the left, and this is the key zone, so I'm going to have it in a different color and solid line. Right, 880, and another one is 900. And the upside target was 21040. First target 21040. Second target 21700, 2170. 21150. And 190. So we generally give 4 levels on the upside and 4 levels on the downside. So let me do that here. 783 is the first one on the downside. 690. Okay, I think we will have to rejoin. There's less than a minute left. So I'm going to send the link again. So let us rejoin this Zoom session. Stop sharing for now. Recording and also share my screen. Okay. So we were here noting down, I have to note down two more levels, 2515 on the left, and then 375. Okay, so I have marked out all the levels here. 4 on the upside. The key zone is the one highlighted in red, and 4 levels on the downside, right? And if you look at this, most of the times, it's not to the dot, but sometimes it is to the dot, very, very accurate, as it happened here. And here it refused to close below this level, even though it fell below. And if you are not talking, can you please go on mute? Thank you. So a close below a certain level, you can consider it as a break, and two successive closes on a 15-minute or a 30-minute chart is definitely a break. So that would tell you, at least if you're in loss, whether to book your loss or not, right? So use those guidelines to be a better trader. And if you look at this, it worked exactly. It reacted at these levels, right? It reacted at this level. It has reacted here, and these are fairly big. This is a 30-minute candle, right? These are fairly big bounces. If you see from 515 all the way to 629, 100-point bounce here, right? So use this as a guideline. The way I personally use this myself. It's not like we give some levels and we don't use it. I use it myself. Um, so this was the penultimate target, right? If you see the fourth level, and usually a good support level, and don't be bearish below this. So if you were bearish, you got a good uh, pull back all the way to this 375 level, right? And here it is okay to go long, and look at the bounce you got here, right? From 375 all the way to around 590, 200-point bounce. And this is big money, whether you're trading futures, 200 points is $4,000, right? Or if you're trading NDX or QQQ, these are big profits in for day trades. So make use of this. And another guideline I would say is, whenever you need to know where to take profits, right? Usually one level, it's because this was such a big drawdown here, right? If you are able to go long here, book the profit as soon as 515 hits. Don't be greedy. Book the profit. And it fell again, right? The next day, I think it fell again. This was overnight action. And I could actually mark the levels for the next couple of days as well. 311 and 375 is what I had. Um, Three 11. So this was still valid as of yesterday, Friday. So I'm going to turn it red. 375. I'm going to turn this red because this is a key level, right? What it means is, if this level holds, if this key zone holds, then you better be bullish. The next day what happened is, I think this was all overnight action. because the volume is very less, right? So this was all overnight action. When the market opened here at 8:30, 9:30 Eastern time, if look at how, we did not get two successive closes below this key zone, and it went all the way to the second level. That's usually a good enough profit target. Two levels up, you should be taking profits. And again, it fell back after touching. I don't know what this line is. 650. Okay, yeah, this is a different line. Sorry, so I shouldn't be using that. 650, I think, is one of the 161% retracement level. So anyway, you can use it in conjunction with some of your own indicators as well, right? I'm just trying to tell you how to trade using these levels. And you see here 375 provided quite a good support for at least how many bars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 half-an-hour candles. Now that is pretty big, right? If you're trying to sell some premium, whatever is your trading strategy, this would again work. But once this breached, then you look at the other levels that we publish, right? So on the downside, I had 250, 250. It found support here. It did not close below 250, right? 123. It found pretty good support here on the second visit. $923. $19,923. And 19,875. So the penultimate target was 19,875. Agreed, it fell, well below that, but look at the bounce it got. So the summary is, don't be bearish below the fourth level. Or if you are bullish, on the upside, don't be bullish after the fourth target, because there is a very, very good chance that market will snap back at that level. So I'm using a lot of methods to give these levels. Fibonacci levels, standard deviations, Bollinger Bands, moving averages. It is a summary of everything put together, and I keep these levels marked and I use it myself, just to give you confidence. And look at the way it responded here at 250, right? So if you are, say you went long here, two levels, you should be taking profit. At this point, you should be taking profit. If you are greedy, maybe you want to extract more, okay, hold it for one more level. And look at what happened. Three levels, there is a pullback all the way to this next target, 123, and that again held. And where did we close? At 207. So again, from 123, it's almost a 80-point bounce, right? These are huge moves. I'm looking at the 30-minute, but if I change it to maybe 1 or 5 minutes chart, you will see the magnitude of the move. NQ moves like 500 points easily in one day, right? And these moves are pretty big, right? So it gives you an idea of how you want to track your own trades, because sometimes I'm very busy with the office work, and the group remains silent, but we try to publish the levels every day before 8 before the market opens at 9:30. That is to help with your own trades, manage your own trades. So make use of these for your day trades.
Pradeep,
Yep.
what will give you, like, right in the middle of this chart over here
Mm-hmm.
where it is 22,250, what will give you the the idea that, okay, I want to go long over here when it has fallen overnight and it has come? I don't know what time this is. Yeah, right there in the middle, not to your right. Yeah,
2250. You're
yeah,
talking
here,
about this one?
yeah, to the right. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is tough, to a very good question. It is tough when you see market is falling overnight and the overall trend has been bearish for last couple of days, right? One thing I would tell you is there is no silver bullet, magic bullet here in the market. We have to mix and match a lot of analysis. So during the night, if the market has fallen at market open, people see it as an opportunity to buy. That's just the psychology. People see it as an opportunity to buy. It bounces up, and then again it might fall during the day, right? But the at the open, the volume will be so high, and overnight buy orders, everything kicks in. And if you see the volume bars here at market open, I generally want to be bullish if the overnight trend is bearish. Okay, so there's no easy answer. If you remember the August 5th low, I don't know how many of you remember. In the group also I mentioned, Nvidia was trading at 93. I still remember that it's a good buy at 93. So August 5th is when the low happened here. Market opened like 3% down on that day. And look at the way it closed. It was still a red candle. It was still a bearish close. But on that day, the general tendency is, okay, let's buy. Whatever is on sale, let's buy. And look at the bounce that we got after that, right? We are yet to hit this level. Still, it's far away, right? Where is it? I think 17,350. So whenever market is bearish overnight, try to be a contra trader, because and it depends on what levels some attractive big cap tech stocks are trading. So you need to also watch out for those. If Apple is trading, say, below 200 at before the market opens, do you think it will continue to fall, or it can immediately find some buyers, and then after 1 p.m. the market might fall again? But at 9:30, when the market opens, I think it'll fly if Apple is below 200.
Yeah.
That's some of the things that we need to mix and match along with these levels. So here, maybe if you want to watch for it to cross this key zone, and then you can get bullish, if this level holds. And I don't know how many of you remember I had spoken about advances and declines market outlook session last year. In one of the sessions I had spoken about all the market internals, how is the volume at open, trin and ticks, advances and declines. Read about those things, study about those, and if you use a combination of these things, you can really make a huge amount of money making use of these moves. It gives you confidence to uh, trade that bigger size, if I may say so. Okay,
Will
yeah,
do. Thank you.
very good question. So um, if at any time you are trading in the wrong direction, say you are holding calls but the market is falling, or you are long future contracts but the market is falling, I always say use two levels as your uh, stop loss. Two levels or three levels at the max, right? So if the market is say, let's say for example, uh, we'll take this here, right? Suppose I am bearish because this level got broken. I'm bearish and it went to the next level. I was greedy, I did not book profits. um, Sorry, I was long here. My bad. I was long, but it went down. I held on to my long position, and then it started coming back up. When do I book my profits? Two levels. In this case, I would use even this key zone itself. Once it crosses the first zone and the second zone is where I would like to book profits, right? From here till here, two levels. Um, on the contrary, say you were short at this stage, market fell, you were in profit, but you did not book your profit. It started going against you. It went up two levels. And this being the key zone, once it crosses the key zone, know that there is a very high possibility that the market can turn bullish. Right? So it went all the way, it crossed another two levels on the upside, if you see here. Right? So you would be very, very happy if you book your loss here. Trust me, minimize your losses. You can, or think about this way: you booked your loss, it crossed your key zone, you can go bullish and make money on the other side, right? Rather than cost averaging and holding on to a losing position. Those are some of the worst mistakes that a trader can do: cost average and holding on to a losing position. So use two level stops. You'll be glad that you got out mm, at least 90% of the times. It's going to free up your mind and capital. All right. I'll leave the remaining 30 minutes for some Q&A. Any questions?
I think what you just mentioned, right? Don't average, change direction
Mm-hmm.
is very important. I get stuck. I start averaging and then I'm like holding on. I
Yeah.
need to get into that switching lane.
Yeah. Be very careful with cost averaging. It's a very, very bad habit. Sometimes small losses can turn into big losses if you cost average.
Hey, Pradeep,
Yep.
how do you trade when the market is in between the two levels? Take any two
Don't
levels
trade.
in
Don't
between
trade.
the two levels, right?
Yeah. Don't trade. That is the simple answer. Especially even within this key zone, you can even consider this key zone as a no trade zone. You have to be watchful. Either buy it if you want to go long, buy it at the lower level to go long. If you see here, it would have worked. pretty much here. It worked for some time here, but it fell back. Um, buy if you want to go long, buy it at the lower level, and if you want to go short, do it at the upper key zone, and in between, don't trade. It's a level to watch, see how the market behaves, and flip your bias. If you are bullish, maybe you need to revisit your thinking if this gets broken. So change your plan accordingly. And in between the levels, any other level, right? In between, say, this yellow and this red, what should you do? Don't force a trade. Don't force a trade. If at all you want to trade, you can go with butterflies, low cost butterflies, targeting this zone if it is falling. Or if it's going up, you can target this zone, like out of the money butterflies, you can try. Otherwise, don't take directional trades. Lotos is okay, right? A lotto trade, and you can convert this into NDX levels easily. Look at the difference between NQ and NDX, right? If the difference is, say, 100 points, and this level is 515, NDX would be 415. So target your butterfly in such a way that it hits the midpoint. 415 should be your midpoint.
Hey Pradeep, sorry, joined late at 2 Central instead of Eastern. I think you would have covered the general market direction in the start, right?
Yes,
So,
I have already
okay,
covered
so
it. I have
will you be
recorded.
posting the video?
Yeah,
Okay,
I've
okay, thank
recorded
you.
the session. I'll upload it by maybe tomorrow.
So with the both like SPY and QQQ near the 200-day Qs below and SPY at, is it looking that it can still go down more?
In the short term, I think we can see a bounce for the next 2-3 days, and I'm expecting a break of this recent low again.
Oh, okay, okay. So bounce for the NQ or the NDX, to what level are you expecting the bounce?
So let me see if I can go back to this. Okay. Now this is all messed up with my levels. It's hard to see. Let's see if I can go to.
Oh, MNQ loaded.
MNQ loaded on this side. Okay, let me go to the daily here. This a bit. Yeah, if you see, this green line is 200-day moving average, 200 EMA actually. So right now it has closed below, right?
Right.
I'm expecting maybe for the next 2-3 days, it can go back all the way to, I think probably even this zone, this red zone. This red zone would be what? That will be March 3rd level, 2800 to 880. So it can potentially go up to this level, and I'm expecting a break of this recent low.
And then how low can it go down?
19,500. Around
Okay.
19,500 is where I want to be a buyer again. I think it can reach that.
Buyer for again short term or for medium?
Or long term.
Long term, okay.
Yeah.
So not expecting it to break down like 20% from the all-time high.
No. There's no reason, for market to crash 20%. This is already a 10% correction if you see, right?
Yes.
22,450. It has broken 20,000, which is
Right.
10% correction.
Right.
I think a double bottom here is what I'm expecting. Somewhere around this region, 19,700 is where the previous, I think Friday's low was, right?
Mhm.
It can hit 19,500 to 19,400, which is not much. Another 300 points below Friday's low is not a big correction. That can happen.
So basically, yeah, I mean, flash crash type one day where VIX spikes and then makes
Yep.
a bottom.
Yep. Make VIX great again.
Make VIX great again. Yeah, go over 30.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. All
Hey,
right.
Pradeep,
And the
can we check
SPY.
SMCI?
Sorry, which stock?
SMCI.
SMCI. Okay. Let me go to the bigger picture and go to monthly on this side. Something happened here. It's not loading at all. I think it is the problem with studies.
Pradeep, can you please check Tesla as well when you get a chance?
Sure.
Thank you.
If it all this loads. Okay, Tesla is loading. So instead of SMCI, let's look at Tesla first. So for Tesla, it's at a very good point. Look at this, 248 is where it found support on Friday. It went to 250, not 248, 250.73. Anyway, pretty close to where previous support was there on 27%. I think it can find a good bounce here, and in line with the market, I expect it to bounce above 300 and then test this one more time. That is what I'm anticipating. But I think let's look at weekly, how weekly is behaving. Look at this lower Bollinger Band, and this is sweet. So this is a very good point for you to go long. If it touches this lower Bollinger Band, I think we should be a buyer here. See the previous instances, not very often it comes to this level on weekly. It happened once, and it did fall all the way to 200 at that time, 200 week moving average. This time it might not go down in a straight line because it has already had a big correction. So it can find support here, bounce, then come back to this 200 week moving average. But this is a good entry point to go long in Tesla. Let's look at
So Pradeep, one question on this actually.
Mhm.
Seeing how things going on with the Tesla, Doji, all those things,
Mhm.
and the sales numbers also projecting saying that it may come down. So do we, on the long run, is it a possible like going down still further?
I mean, honestly, how many times has it followed the bad news and stock has fallen. Not many times.
I know that's true. This is a different
This
situation, I
is a
guess.
different ball game.
Yeah.
Though, Democrats hate Elon Musk and all those, Nancy Pelosi was one of the biggest Tesla call holders. So, they when it comes to making money, they're all in it together, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. So, I think it can still bounce. It can bounce in a big way about 300 in the next couple of weeks. um, I don't worry much about other things. Falling sales in Europe is a bit of a concern, but I think Tesla will be able to navigate. um, Given that it's such a big correction, I don't want to be bearish on this. I think it's a very good entry point, considering this previous levels will act as support, and it can definitely go above 300 again.
Pradeep, in the near term, with the
Mhm.
wicks being high, would it be a good sell put candidate at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I think you if you sell something at 250,
Yeah.
that is a very good candidate, and you will get good premiums as well on this one. But if you don't want to miss out on the bull run, uh, you might want to just
Okay.
buy it at
Hey, when you
250.
Pradeep, I have a question. When you take a bull put, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the two levels that you would kind of like watch? Just take Tesla as an example. For example, right? Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you are anticipating this to go next in the next, let's say, 2 3 weeks. It's expected to go to 300 instead of making a plain call. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to take a bull put, right?
Mm.
What would you maybe which two levels would you look at?
Uh, Levels on the chart, this 250, right? If you want to
So
be
you
a
would sell
seller,
250 put.
yeah, sell 250 put. This is only if you want to acquire these stocks, or okay, yeah, even if you want to make some money by selling premium, you can do that. But if it rallies to 300 plus, you will not be able to make much money with just a put, right? So that's where you need to be bit, what do you want out of this stock? Is it just to collect premium, then sell it at 250? If you want to ride the wave of a bounce, then buy the stock itself or buy a call along with selling a put, right?
So it's buying a call, selling a put. How would you do that? And that's what I was asking. Maybe a fundamental question, right?
Yeah, so sell a put at 250 and then buy a 250 call, which will be expensive. I don't recommend buying out of the money calls. At least in the money or at the money calls, which are expiring, say, next year. Yeah, that would be your kind of stock replacement. Buy it for next June or something, and then you are sure to make use of this bounce. And you would
Oh,
have
wow. Sell put at 1 year out, huh?
no. Sell
No.
put.
Uh-huh.
All selling put always should be at 45 days and less.
Okay.
That is where you can get maximum theta decay. At the max, you can go to 60 days, but I wouldn't recommend selling anything more than 60 days. Ideal would be 45 days. You will get a good premium. And
And
then,
then invest that money in the call a year out.
yeah, you are going to finance your calls by selling the put.
Yeah. Interesting.
Let's see if SMCI comes up now. Yeah, it did come up. So this was kind of a relief rally. It already happened. Now it's back. And to be honest, I haven't followed this fundamentals. I think there were some discussions about their financials. I'm not sure whether that is sorted with their latest
It
earnings
is.
report.
They did file. I think they did file last year's as well.
Okay, so it's all good now.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, yeah. If that cloud over their head is cleared, I think given the way it has pulled back, it would be a good buy. Let's look at the monthly. It's a no man's land, in the middle of the Bollinger Band on a monthly scale, and this candle is not very encouraging, right? I think it might spend a lot of time here between this $30 and $40 range. But at this level, it doesn't hurt to buy some, you know, if their fundamentals are good, there are no more questions about their financials, fraud, etc. uh, I think around 32 to 33, below 35 maybe, right, would be a good entry point. A small amount. And I still don't trust this stock a lot. So I don't want anyone to lose a lot of money. Whatever you can just buy and forget, try your luck below 35. The money that you can live without, invest only that.
Can we also check Boeing BA?
Sure. Yeah.
Dave, are you an investor in BA?
I am.
I'm a long time investor.
Yeah, I'm holding it.
I'm yeah, I'm a bag holder as well. Unfortunately, it has been disappointing. The only thing I'm a little concerned about this is if the war in Ukraine comes to an end, this is going to fall further. I think it might, yeah, the defense contracts is what is holding up this company, not their commercial jetliner business. So I think it might still revisit this lower Bollinger Band here, if the war comes to an end. So that's one risk associated with the stock. But war coming to an end is good for everyone else. But yeah, I would probably buy more if it falls below 130.
I think there is some good news on Boeing just today or maybe yesterday that its secret flight came back safely. And it was a contract with the Space Force that Trump opened up. So
Okay. Well, that is good in terms of their quality issues, right? But the space business is a very minuscule business. I think it's mainly their jetliners that they need to get their act together,
yeah,
along with defense. That is their main bread and butter. Um, so somewhere around is free version. All right. Yeah, I was talking about Boeing. I think for now I don't want to add more, but I'm still a bag holder. And if at all it comes to, the low end of this candle, see how it acted as support again here. So I think that if it comes there, that would be a good entry point. And yeah, in fact, I can draw a line here. This has been the long-term support. right? So around 140 to 144 level maybe is where we can buy some more if it falls.
Yeah, if you're playing that aerospace or like similar, similar is Lockheed Martin and GE Aerospace.
Mm-hmm.
They're also, I mean, GE Aerospace, remember we got in Jan or something like December,
Yep.
it's done really good from that point. 160 to 190, it had gone above 200.
True. Yeah. And all these stocks, even Lockheed Martin, um, biggest risk is the war
War.
coming to an end.
Yeah.
That is but unfortunate, but that's the sad reality. Uh,
And I had Lunar, and that Lunar fell.
yeah. So if it comes back to look at the way it found support here, right? The previous top was here. This was a good entry point to go long. Okay. Anything else you want us to discuss next 4 minutes?
Hey, AMD, that's been like on the downfall, and it's not stopping yet for the past 1 year.
Yeah, I know. Again, I'm a bag holder in this one, but fortunately, I bought it very recently, so not a huge loss or anything. I think it is overdone here on the downside, and see the way it is refusing to even go and hit the lower Bollinger Band. It looks like it is done on the downside. Yeah. I think that this is probably a very, very good entry point. The way it is currently sitting um, right here, right now, Monday morning or Sunday overnight, if you can buy it, it's a very good entry point around 100. I think,
AMD?
yep, it's at a very good support level.
But wouldn't this kind of like be a little volatile with Trump in White House talking about, chip,
Yeah, but it is one of
tariffs and all of
those,
those things?
it is one of those tech stocks which are cheaper at the moment. There
Yeah,
are.
I've been watching AMD. It's been at that 100 mark for the last whole week. When everything is falling, it's still holding that 100.
Yeah, I think this is right here, right now, a very good buy.
Same thing if you watch MU, with everything falling, MU also kept
Mm-hmm.
its line. See, it's at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at a very good support level. Although I feel like this might actually take out all the stop losses. It'll fall
Oh,
below.
really? 74,
Uh,
72.
not immediately, but maybe uh, bounce, come back. It'll take out all the stops and then go up. Usually, when you see this kind of support, that's what happens. So have some working order below these support levels. Maybe around 77. What is this candle? Low of this candle, which is 79. Yeah, have a working order to buy at 80.
Yeah, my average is 88
Okay.
MU. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will hit 80 for sure. Um, One overnight low it can make and then bounce up.
Yeah, AMD is not good. AMD is 118.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for.
Thank you, Pradeep.
Hey, thanks, Pradeep.
Can you look Marvel and Wood?
Sorry, what is it? Marvel?
That's Marvel, yeah. MRVL.
Okay. Um, and this is crazy drop
Yeah,
here.
they had a ER this week.
Yeah, after earnings, if it has fallen this way, I think it'll continue for a couple of days. Yeah, when did it happen? Just two
I
days
think it
ago.
was Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to fall further. At least it is going to take out this low, in my opinion.
Yeah, I got in after the ER. I'm holding it.
Yeah. So what is the low here? 65.53, right? I think it will at least break 65.53. So right now it is at 70. Yeah, another 10 to 12% correction is due here, um, which will bring it to look at this uh, green line. I think that is a fair target, 64 to 65.
Hey, Pradeep, can you look for MSTR and Netflix?
MSTR. This is extremely dependent on what crypto will do, right? If I look at Bitcoin, I feel like Bitcoin is due for a revisit of this level. Okay. MSTR can fall further. I don't know whether it's going to spend some time here, go up, go down, and then eventually come here. I'm not following Bitcoin a lot nowadays, but MSTR will follow the trend. Fine. I feel 180, this level is where you can go long. It is going to come down further around 180. Right now, it's 287. So I'm not very bullish, to be honest.
Pradeep, on the studies, Bollinger Band,
Mm-hmm.
right out of the box, it says 20, length 20, dev up to 2 and -2. Is
Yep.
that that is the setting we should keep?
Yeah, I use the default setting. If you see here, it is
Oh yeah.
simple moving average and two standard deviation moves.
So the inside the Bollinger Band, you have exponential SMAs, is what you're saying. I mean, moving averages.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe that's what I got wrong.
Yeah.
Pradeep, can you look Hood and Apple?
Apple, I think I already looked at it. You can go back a
Yeah, yeah.
little.
I'll check the recording. Can you check the Hood?
Hood. Robin Hood. Okay. This drop is not looking good. Uh, but I'm bullish on the small caps. So this level is probably going to hold. It's probably overdone on the downside. We can see a bounce here. Um, Let me look at the monthly. Yeah, I think this it can visit this 8 EMA, which is around 38, and it can still remain bullish. Overall, if you look at the trend, from all these negative numbers, I think they have turned the corner, right? I'm bullish on the stock. And to give a simple perspective of where it can go, let's do this. Yeah, 61.8 is where it has failed to close above, right? Ideal place where for it to get rejected. But this level is to be watched, 8 EMA and this 36. If it doesn't hold, then it can fall back further if this level doesn't hold. Otherwise, it can continue this uptrend it has started.
Yeah, Pradeep, one last. Can we check SOFI, SOFI? Yeah, financials are taking a huge hit this, last few weeks, right?
Yeah, I hold these stocks and even in my kids account I have it. I think it's this is where it can find support
That is what it.
around 11.5.
Okay.
Okay, so it can find support here. Overall, I'm bullish on small caps and mid caps. I think this is the place to be for the next bull run.
So what are some of these small caps, that you think? If not on this call, maybe you can just, put it on the
Let's discuss
channel.
it in the group. Others can also suggest some of like Square, PayPal, mid caps and small caps. I can think of. Let's put it in the group. Others also please suggest. I think we should build a solid list for us to invest in.
Yeah, and those are like buying the stocks, right?
Buying
For
the
long.
stock, yeah, not for short-term trades.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
The one thing that's doing pretty well in the past couple of weeks has been Dollar General. I'm really not sure if it's because of the ER that's coming up this week, but it has gone from 66 to 81 now. It has been on the downtrend for the past 1 year or so, or 6
Yeah.
months, I think.
Right. But I think, all this is a very low margin business. I'm not a big fan of it. And especially with tariffs and things like that, they'll not be able to manage. Targets and Walmarts of the world can handle it better compared to Dollar General.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for staying back, and sorry for the multiple meeting invites.
Oh, Pradeep, thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Pradeep, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Pradeep.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a
Bye.
good weekend.